What is Lean Six Sigma? You would like to know. So let me summarize 7 days of my trainings into this one short and simple video. So let's talk about Lean Six Sigma. It is a way of thinking and a way of working for process improvement. It comes from a philosophy of several companies. The lean part comes from Japanese Toyota, and they developed a unique improvement philosophy already in the 50s of the last century, and it helped them, to become one of the largest automotive company from being a very small and humble car producer. The Six Sigma part comes from the United States, from companies like Motorola and General Electric. It comes from the 80s, and it comes from their approach to innovation and process improvement projects using data. So these philosophies combined, and they are called Lean Six Sigma. So as I said, is a way of thinking and a way of working to make things you already do in your company, your products and processes, better, faster, higher quality, and cheaper. So I would like to show you few, let's say, ideas from the way of thinking and give you an example from few of the methods from way of working. So let's start with the thinking part. So the first idea is not to use your wallet, but to use your brain for improvement. So because every time we improve something and there is a continuous innovation, people tend to solve everything with investments, with buying new equipment, buying new robots. In Lean Six Sigma, they say, is there a cheap and easy way how to achieve it? How to reach the target, how to make something a little bit better. For example, let's say you have a process for your month end in finance. It takes you 20 hours to put together all the data for reporting. And maybe your target would be 5 minutes. That would be your awesome goal. So, and the question is, what would you do, to move to your next target? What would be the first small step to move? So first you set a target, you move to it, put a new target, and that's the principle of continuous improvement. So 8 types of waste. That is a very powerful method that was developed in Toyota. Because in Toyota, they wanted to involve everybody in the company to the improvement. Because who knows better how to make the work better than the people who do the work? So they included everybody. But as you know, there's a thing like professional blindness. After doing something for many years, you stop seeing where the improvement opportunities are. So they wanted a simple method to help people see the waste, meaning the activities that do not bring any value to the customer. So they developed this simple checklist of 8 types of waste. It's not a scientific thing. It's rather a tool for your thinking to open your eyes. I have a video here on YouTube on this topic where I go more into detail. By the way, these 8 types of waste are transport, inventory, motion, unused potential, waiting, overprocessing, overproduction, and defects. So 8 types of waste. Very good thing. If you would like to learn one method from Lean Six Sigma, try this one. Lean Six Sigma is also an evidence-based principle. So instead of arguing like what should be the best solution and what's causing the problem, instead of bringing arguments and opinions, in Lean Six Sigma we bring data. As somebody said, in God we trust, everybody else bring data. Lean Six Sigma relies on standardization as its most powerful principle. It's not a good idea if, let's say, you have 2 people at the customer service center and they have kind of their own approach to things, their own way how to deal with customers. You don't want that, because if you're a customer and you call a customer service twice and you get always different instructions, the process is different, you feel weird. It's not a good customer experience, and there is also a high chance of mistakes and errors when just everybody does things a little bit differently. Also, it increases cost. For example, when each country does the same process in a different way. So in Lean Six Sigma, the standardization is not done so the boss would come and say, okay, this is the list of instructions, what you should do. This is not how we do it in Lean Six Sigma. Instead, we gather the people that do the process and let them build their own standard operating procedure. It should be built not on the knowledge of the best person, but it should be like a combined knowledge where everybody doing a process or a production step agree that this is the best way how to do things. And also there is a good chance that when people build something themselves, they don't usually tend to not follow the process. Imagine a situation that is fairly common in companies. Somebody breaks something or sends a wrong payment, and when a problem like this happens, usually we try to find whose fault it is, and punish the person, and then train everybody not to do it again. But this is a not very good strategy to dealing with problems that people do not make voluntarily. So it's good to prevent errors, not with punishing people, and finding whose fault and blaming people, but instead of thinking and asking a question, what can we change to prevent this next time? How can we rebuild the process so the mistake will not reappear? But mistakes do appear again, and you never will go to a state when there will be no mistakes. So that's why you need a next principle, which is called short interval control. And the principle goes like that. A problem happens, after some time you know about the problem, and after some time the problem is solved. And the goal in Lean Six Sigma is to make this interval as short as possible. Okay? Because a problem can happen, and maybe you send a wrong payment, or you just pack a wrong package, or some production performance drops, and you should know about it as soon as possible so you can fix the problem before it reaches the customer or before the cost of the problem gets really, really high. So preventing most of the problems, and if they do happen, try to find them and fix them as soon as possible. Now let me show you a few methods of working. The first thing is the Kaizen culture. In Lean Six Sigma, in Toyota, they try to involve everybody in the improvement, and everybody should be allowed and encouraged to do small improvement steps in their work. For example, in Toyota, they had these circles of quality, where people from different functions meet once every 2 weeks, and they discuss what could be changed, and then they work on it together. These are not big things, they are small things that could be finished within a day or within a week. But if you do tens of thousands and millions of these Kaizens, your productivity and your innovation will skyrocket. But Kaizen culture is not everything. Sometimes you need to do bigger steps. And for these, you need improvement projects. And in Motorola, they built a standardized way how to approach these projects. Because they found out when they make hundreds and thousands of these improvement projects, every time they build a team, the team needs to agree what will be the way how to do things, how to organize themselves. So instead, they made a standardized way how to approach any process improvement projects. And there's several steps. It goes like that, okay? Define what is the problem. For example, in our finance department, we have too many wrong payments and it costs us a lot of money and the customers doesn't like it, okay? Next step is measure. How big is the problem? Collect the data to understand, is the problem even worth solving? So maybe we'll find out that 1% of every payments every month are wrong payments. So that is a big problem. In Analyze, we try to understand why it happens. We try to map the process, look more into the data, interview people, observe the process to understand where the problem is and what are the root causes. In Improve, we suggest ideas how to fix it and implement them. And in Control, we make sure that after implementing, it actually worked, and if the results are good, that they will be sustained for a long period of time. So standardized way of making projects, skyrocketed the productivity of teams in Motorola, but building teams was another problem that they faced. So because every time they build a team, they have to think, oh, does Peter know about this subject? Would Lisa be a good project manager? Is she skilled enough? So they decided to train people to certain levels of seniority in process improvement projects. And there are three basic ones: the black belts, the green belts, and the yellow belts. Black belts are the masters. These are the people who run the show, or some innovation managers and top managers and project managers of harder projects. Green belts are trained to manage projects by themselves, and yellow belts are people who are trained to be a good team member. They understand what's going on and they know how to apply all the methods and run different methods in the projects. So these standardization of skills help them, build project teams much faster. And this idea that originated from Motorola was later on adopted in more companies in the same way. And now it's actually an internationally recognized standard across different companies. And you can get certified by an external company that you have enough skills to be a green belt. And if you have these skills and trainings, you can do the green belt role in any company that does Lean Six Sigma. And I could tell you from the Fortune 500, it's basically all of them. Now let's speak about a few typical tools that can be used. Project Charter, that makes sense, right? That is a typical project management tool to understand what is the project about. Systems of KPIs to measure the effectiveness and efficiency of the process to understand how big the problem is. Process mapping is a key method to understanding what is the current state of the process, where are the problems, where are the gaps, how can we reorganize the process to avoid all the rework loops, and waste and approval chains and handoffs. And also it helps us to design a new way of the process. Data analysis, there are different ways of statistics and data analysis in Lean Six Sigma that are used in different methods. So it's good to understand data, as this is an evidence-based principle. Root cause analysis is a brainstorming tool, an investigation tool to understand what are the root causes of the problem. It's harder than it looks, by the way. Pareto analysis. This rule that 20% of all causes 80% of the problems. So in Lean Six Sigma, we try to find out what are the main causes of the problems, why the process is not working so well, why it's so slow, or why we have so many defects. And then we try to tackle from the biggest ones first. There is a risk analysis tools like FMEA to understand where are the risks of the process or of the product and how to fix them and how to manage those risks. Or there is an idea evaluation tool. There is a RACI Matrix, very good tool about assigning responsibilities. I have a video about this here on YouTube as well. Benefits tracking is a tool to measure and the sustainability of these results and making sure that if you improve something, it actually keeps improving. And that is Lean Six Sigma way of thinking and way of working. It should not be the only type of project you should run, because Lean Six Sigma is good for something which we call exploit projects. Doing things what you do, but better, faster, higher quality, and cheaper. It is very important because all your competitors do that as well. If you would like to be competitive with your price and you would like to build a great customer experience for your customers, you need to do those. But of course, you also need to do some explore projects. And there are different methodologies for that, such like design thinking or lean startup. And this would be like exploring new products, reaching new markets, or doing something entirely new. So Lean Six Sigma is a good thing and basically a ground floor of any innovation culture. And hopefully this explanation of this way of thinking and the way of working gave you some clarity to it. And I hope that this will be a first step on your path of continuous improvement. Thank you.